driver, Carrington, gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
Good evening, race fans. My name is Jacob Fescanen here with Team Goon Squad. Excited to bring you the first round of the Crazy Dogs T-Shirts Xfinity Series. Live racing every Sunday night here on the Team Goon Squad YouTube page. We're bringing you 1080p, 60 frames per second each and every week, and we have this league just kicking off. Excited to bring it to you here. These drivers are ready to attack the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway today for 80 laps. They're going to have 2 extra sets of tires at their disposal, as well as 1 fast repair in case anything goes on, and a full tank of fuel to start. We've got a good grid of 20 cars here this evening, so they've just wrapped up qualifying, and all drivers are working their way down to the starting line to get lined up. While they are doing that, we're going to get you through the grid, get you set up for the race lineup tonight, and get you ready to go. We've got starting out today on your pole, driver of the number 02 Chevrolet Camaro, Craig Janzik. Outside of him, starting second is going to be the 35 Ford Mustang of Tyler Meeks. In third is going to be the 48 Chevrolet Camaro of Will Cloud. Behind them, outside of row number 2, is going to be the 64 Ford Mustang of Brett Murphy. The 55 Toyota Supra of James Harris is rolling off in 5th place this evening. And starting in 6th is going to be the 81 Chevy Camaro of Harley Valletta. Coming back in row number 4, we've got on the inside the 29 Chevrolet of William Mann Jr. and outside of him the 21 Toyota Supra of Ian Ogden. 5th row is going to see the 83 Ford Mustang of Dan Oliver, and outside of him is going to be the number 121 Chevy Camaro of Hunter Terpstra. Back in row number 6, we've got the starting 11th, we've got the 88 Chevrolet Camaro of Joseph Jara, and outside of him is the number 135 Toyota Supra of Zachary Thompson. We're going to move our way back in the grid. Back to row number 4, starting in 13th is going to be the 69 Chevy Camaro of Justin Gainham. Outside of him is the 57 Chevy Camaro of William Mann. Back in row number 8, it's the 39 Chevy Camaro of Cam Anderson, and outside of him is the number 77 Chevy Camaro of Brian Lorenzo. Back in row number 9, we've got the number 16 Ford Mustang of Robert Wynn, and outside of him is the number 89 Ford Mustang of Robert Wynn Jr. And rounding out our 20-car grid on the inside of row number 10 is the 51 Chevy Camaro Charles Whitehead, and the 73 Camaro of Topher Baltimore is our 20th and final starter this evening. All drivers are making their way out onto the track now, rolling around. Try to get them around for a pace lap to get the field sorted. Give the drivers a chance to get lined up, get filed up here. It's 80 laps tonight. Again, 2 sets of tires. They have 1 set on the car plus 2 in the pits for a total of 3 sets tonight, as well as a full tank of fuel. Would expect this to be able to go 1 stop if it were to stay green the entire way on fuel to that full tank. But drivers could be changing that stop throughout the race depending on when they want to take those fresh tires. Typically, we do see a little bit of a fall off in terms of lap times from their fastest laps when the tires are fresh and feeling good all the way towards the end of a tire life cycle. So you could see some different strategies tonight should it stay green for when those drivers want to take that pit stop. Pace car is going to be getting ready to pull off here. Should see a few lines of potential racing throughout the track. Las Vegas does provide a few different routes for these drivers, so we could see some mixing and matching of drivers going high and low, and should provide some very exciting racing tonight. So gonna get ready to go. Pace car's off. We'll see when Craig Jancic wants to lead the field to green. Looks like starters given command, and Jancic is off and rolling. We are here for the initial race of the Crazy Dogs T-Shirts Xfinity Series. Jancic's leading the field down into turn number 1. He's taken a little bit of a later entry, but working his all the way down to the white line. You see the field is 2 by 2 most of the way back. Front 5 looks like they have chosen to single file themselves out. So got a little bit of a side-by-side battle for 6 and 7 between Harley Berletta and 29 and William Mann Jr. Front 5 look like they all just want to start getting in the line and start clicking lags off. Janic's going to lead your first lap, this time by, what's 8:36.77. Looks like that's going to be your fastest lap on the track by anybody. So we'll see how much lap times improve. Obviously, you're going to be a little bit faster with them opening up. Oh, we got one car down the track to start. We'll see if that brings out a caution. Quick wreck there to begin. Looks like that was Zachary Thornton. He stays off the track. The track stays green, so give it a minute to see if it sorts out. We'll get you a replay of what happened, but quickly move Zachary Thornton in the 135 Supra all the way back to the 19. As he had that moment there coming off of turn 2 down the back stretch. Let's get you a quick replay there of what happened to Thornton on lap 2. You see Thornton working his way on the high side, makes a little bit of contact there. I believe that was the 83 of Dan Oliver, and it just shoots him straight down the track. Hard contact on the inside retaining wall. Looks like he was likely going to be towing to the pits, so that gets him probably going to use his first fast repair for the evening, which is a bit sooner than you wanted to use it. But yeah, you see some engine troubles there, but certainly a tough tough way to start the race for Thornton, not what he wanted to see. We're jump back live, back up to Jancic, beating Tyler Meeks in the 35 Ford Mustang by just over a 10th of a second, and about a 10th and a half behind them is the 64 Mustang of Brett Murphy. These 3 are trying to break away a little bit from the rest of the field, but you see Meeks looking both ways, trying to find some clean air, give him some downforce on the front end of that car, help it turn better, and see if he can try to cut around Jancic and take that lead away from him as they work down the backstretch here on lap number 5 of 80 tonight. This is great racing already. Front 5 tightened back up. You can see the 81 of Harley Beretta. They're just lurking right behind, waiting for any of these problems. The 64 of Brett Murphy makes a big move as well to tighten that gap up. We've got a good 3-car battle up here in the front, and the 48 of Will Cloud and the Chevy Camaro Pepsi machine looking like he's wanting to enter his name into this battle for the first spots. Meeks works to the outside. Looks like he's going to get a good run down the back stretch, trying to see if he can clear Jancic into turn 3. They're going to go side by side. One takes an extreme high line, one takes a very low line. We're going to see some great side by side racing. I think 64 Murphy's just going to be loitering, sitting right behind, see which line is going to move faster, which driver may make a mistake, so he can take advantage of and try to pick up the spot out of it. He runs in the middle. You're going to see drivers kind of shifting around a little bit as the night goes on, both with their tire wear, where the car is going to feel comfortable, as well as trying to keep some of that air that's not disrupted by any competitors in front of them. That helps a little more downforce on the front of the car. What that does, that allows them to turn even better and feel better. But you see Tyler Meeks able to work his way on the outside around the 02 of Jancic. So move Meeks up to the front here. lap number 8. First time he's been in the lead this evening early on in the race. See Brett Murphy kind of sizing up that outside line with all Jansek's, but pretty committed to the bottom so far tonight. We get a little bit of trouble behind. Driver's fan away. I believe that was the 55 of James Harris that might have had a few issues. He continues to drop back the field there. But we got a good side-by-side battle for second and third place between Brett Murphy and Greg Jansek as Tyler Meekins looks to extend his lead now up to almost 3/10 of a second as they work their way through the middle of 1 and 2 on lap number 9. See, Murphy was able to get by Jansek. So Jansek might be settling down a little bit, maybe conserving a little bit of tires. May have stepped a little bit more off the start than what the rest of these drivers did. Murphy now working front 3 broken out. They're about half a second or so ahead of the 48. We're going to work our way back to the field. So we got some drivers battling. We're going to go back to 7th place where you see the 77 Brian Lorenzo trying to work on the 29 Chevy Camaro of William Mann Jr. This is for a battle of 6 and 7 on track. This is just behind those front 5 who are all kind of single file and separate out a little bit. Lorenzo works his way down to the bottom in that Crazy Dog t-shirt Chevy Camaro. See him working right along the white line there on the front stretch as Mann Jr. is holding the high line going into turn number 1. Lorenzo gets a little bit of a better run through the center of 1 and 2, so allows him to clear Mann Jr. by about a car length as they work their way down the back stretch. All things considered, both lines have their merits and their benefits. The bottom line allows you to drive in deeper at times, but it is going to put a little more wear on the right front tire, as well as you don't get quite as good of a run off the corner. So you're going to see drivers opting for different lines based on where their vehicle is comfortable, as well as where they see their competitors running, and try to take an alternate line around them. All drivers are running the same spec setups. All drivers are on the same settings. It's all a matter of what they can do with those settings to make those feel more comfortable for themselves. We're seeing some great racing so far to start this event tonight. You see Lorenzo's pulling away from Mann. He's opened that gap up to about a half a second. He's quickly working on the back end of the 21 of Will Ogden. Trying to get to the inside there as they work their way off of turn number 2 down the Nellis super stretch. See Lorenzo quickly making moves. He's going to be up 11 spots now that he's able to clear Ogden from his starting place of 16th. So Lorenzo putting his name in for the hard charger of the race in the early going as we are working lap number 14 of 80. All 13 completed laps so far in the big green. We had just that one issue for Zachary Harden early on, and Joseph Jarros has been on and off pits with some issues as well. Back a little bit through the field, we're going to go back to 12th place. This is the 11th and 12th on track. You can see the 39 of Cam Anderson trying to work to the inside of the 121 of Hunter Terpstra. These two work side by side down the front stretches. Anderson looks to clear Terpstra as they go in, but he goes to the high side. Terpstra quickly dives to the bottom in the middle of 1 and 2 to see if he can go a little bit crossover and try to get a better run off the corner. You're going to see that outside line fail just a little bit as Anderson in the Mountain Dew back 39 Chevy Camaro works his way committed to the high side right now, trying to get that run to clear Terpstra. Terpstra doing a good job hanging on though. This is a good battle for 11th and 12th on track. Anderson up 4 spots from his 15th place starting position. Terpstra back just a couple, started 10th tonight, back just a little bit, but still put a valiant effort. You see Anderson able to prevail, pull away for a little bit. It's going to put Terpstra now in the clutches of the 69 of Justin Gainham. He's quickly working, trying to find some improvement off his start. He's in the number 69 under Chevy Camaro. He's going to look to the bottom. I think he saw Anderson kind of try to make a little bit of a crossover and see that he caught Terpstra on the high side. So Gainham's going to try to work the bottom as they work their way going back into turn number 1 on lap 17. Side-by-side battle here, both drivers being very courteous to each other. working their cars as hard as they can. You see Gainham with a little bit of better run there through turn 2, able to clear him by about a car length and a half as they work their way down the backstretch into turn number 3. We'll see if turn 2 tries to dive back in, maybe send it in a little bit deeper, close that gap up. Looks like he's going to be content to just fall back a little bit as Gainham pulls away. Back to the front though, as Janzix works his way back to the lead, was able to work back by both Murphy and Meeks. And you can see lurking just behind Meeks, Ryan Lorenzo, 13 spots now into the 3rd place. It's no stranger to these Xfinity Series cars. Runs a couple other leagues in them and does very well in them, so should be a valiant contender to run along with the rest of these drivers here. Janzek fighting hard. Pulling away. He's got about a 4/10 lead over Meeks. You see Meeks running half a lane to a lane lower through the middle of 1 and 2. All drivers really turning some pretty quick and fast laps overall. Your best actually in the race comes out of the number 35 Ford Mustang. Tyler Bates with 30.77, but your front runners are all within a 10.5 of that for their fast lap. They have fallen off considerably though, almost a full 1.5 seconds as most drivers are in the low to mid 32-second range now as we work lap number 20 of 80. So would not expect to see these drivers push these tires much past halfway just due to the fall off. While you may think running less laps at the back end of the run is a beneficial move so that you have advantage of those fresh tires quicker that way, what can happen is a lot of times fall off so hard if somebody hits in a few laps before you with that advantage that they have in speed, they may actually be able to jump you and gain some precious time over that. So once you see 1 or 2 drivers come in, you're probably going to see the rest of the field. So you may see some of these guys in the 2nd to 6th or 7th range really try to dictate the strategy a little bit and come in just a little bit sooner than what other drivers were planning. So you can see Lorenzo quickly working on the back of Tyler Meeks. Lorenzo dives to the bottom of turn number 3. Meeks working called 3rd lane up, 2.5 lanes up. Lorenzo pulling up alongside, trying to side draft off of the 35 Ford Mustang, and Meeks not quite able to get fully alongside of him yet. He's going to drive it in a little bit deeper there. You see Meeks commit to that high side. See if Lorenzo's able to clear Meeks off of turn number 2, if Meeks is going to get that run. Looks like he was able to, but Meeks is going to ride right behind Lorenzo as they work their way into turn number 3. You see Meeks falling right in Lorenzo's tire tracks. I think he knows that it's probably smarter to let him go, try to tag on and see if he can just hook to the back of Lorenzo, follow him through and get back closer to Craig Janzek and see if he can put himself back into a position to at least run in 2nd place, if not contend for the lead. Great job by these front 3. They have separated themselves by about almost a 1.5 seconds from your 4th place driver of Brett Murphy. Certainly some great battles going on up front. We're going to jump back to 5th and 6th place on track as you've got the number 29 of Will Mann Jr. and the number 48 of Will Cloud looking to engage into a battle for 5th and 6th place on track. Drivers separated by about 3 car lengths as they work their way back into turn number 1. See, these drivers are taking a little bit of a later entry, so they're starting out in the middle, high to middle of the corner, and then working their way down to the bottom, trying to lengthen that straightaway out on the backstretch as much as they can, carry as much momentum down into turn number 3. It's like Will Cloud's kind of content to follow the tire tracks. He did a little bit more of that in turn number 1 and 2, dives a little bit lower than 3 and 4 compared to William Mann Jr. Maybe trying to get a little bit of clean air over that nose, help that car turn a little bit better. And Jr. able to stretch that lead out just a little bit over the Cloud. About a 1/2 second or so that pass time by. Just keep an eye on this. Both drivers are running pretty close lap times. Like I said, it was just about 1/2 second or 1/10 difference between the two as they work their way the stripe. We'll see what it comes across at this time by. Looks like Mann able to operate a little bit better through turn 3, gets a little bit of a better run down the front stretch, pulls away from Will Cloud. That last time by almost 3.5 tenths difference. So William Mann might be turning on the afterburners a little bit, trying to give himself a little bit of a buffer, pull away from Will Cloud. great battle. We're going to go back through the field as well. Got a good 3-car battle shaping up here. Really almost a 4-car battle for 8th through 11th on track. As you've got the 55 of James Harrison leading this 4-car group, easily in the 21 of Ian Ogden. Cam Anderson in the 39, Carroll trying to work his way on the outside of Ogden, and just behind them is the 69 Camaro of Justin Gainham. You see him there in the Wonder Chevy Camaro, just running off the back end of Ogden. These drivers are engaged in a very good battle for 8th through 11th on track as we're working lap number 27. Harris leads him off of turn number 2 down the Nellis straightaway. You can see Anderson trying to look to the inside, a little bit of a lower line, get some of that fresh air, see if he can cut underneath Harris. And got a good side-by-side battle behind between Anderson and Gainham, so we'll keep it here on Harris and Anderson for a little bit and see how this battle unfolds. Both drivers are trying to move their way back up. Harris back a few spots where he started. Anderson trying to work his way forward. Not quite able to get the run off of turn number 2. You see Harris able to stave off Anderson, that time down the straightaways. They work their way back into the middle of turn number 3 and 4. With that little bit of a slip up by Anderson, that's allowing Gainham to try to close his way back up. He's trying to pull away from the 57 William Man. Looks like we got Ian Ogden, 21 Toyota Supra, coming in for stop. Not sure. Might be a little bit early in an unscheduled stop, but we'll see if that does force the hand of anybody else. We're keep here on this battle right now. Good battle between these drivers, side by side as they work their way back to the middle of 3 and 4. Anderson favoring that low line. Harris kind of committed to that top side as well. Just as I say that, we have a good battle up front. Lorenzo has gotten by. Was by Meeks, pulling away from Meeks now. That gap's almost 2 seconds. Lorenzo's quickly hunting the back of Jancek. So Lorenzo has been setting the pace the last time by. Not much faster than Jancek, so this is a good battle up front. We'll keep it here. You see Lorenzo continuing to work the bottom. He comes off of turn number 4 a little bit lower to start than what Jancek does. As they go back into turn number 1, Jancek running all the way up against the wall. Lorenzo running about a half lane off the white line. You see Jancek able to carry a little more momentum, but Lorenzo certainly stalking closely, about a half a car length back, trying to use the draft down the back stretch to get a little bit closer to Jancek. Both drivers take similar lines through 3 and 4 as they did through 1 and 2. Lorenzo almost to the white line, Jancek almost up to the high line. I guess if you want to relate this to current Cup Series drivers, you got Jancek taking what everybody would know as either the Tyler Reddick or the Kyle Larson line, and Lorenzo's almost doing what we call a little bit of hard maneuver. He's getting right down to that bottom white line, working that all the way through the corner, and then getting a run up off from the bottom. Lorenzo has been bouncing anywhere from about a 1/10 to a quarter of a second behind Jancek, quickly trying to work. You see he gets a really good run off of turn number 4 that time as they work their way down the front stretch to complete lap number 33. Excuse me, at least completing lap number 32. Working lap 33 now. Lorenzo's working the back end of Jancek. He's definitely trying to force the hand. Jancek might be going up towards the top side if you leaned on that right front a little bit too much and kind of wore it out. The car's going to feel a little bit tighter. It's not going to want to turn quite as well in the corner. So he may be going up to the high side to help that and try to work out the right rear a little bit more. Get the car a little more balanced as the rest of the run progresses. You see he dives down to the bottom last time in 3 and 4 to try to cut off Lorenzo's line. These cars have a lower downforce style compared to, let's say, the Truck Series do. You're still very, very aero dependent, and if you see a driver taking a certain line and you can pull in front of them, you can really affect how well their car turns to the corner by pulling in front of them and taking their line away. So I think that's good observation by Jancek. He was aware that Lorenzo was pretty much committed to the bottom both ends, and you see the last 2 laps, both times he's done it in 3 and 4 as a way to effectively kind of reduce the amount of time that Lorenzo will gain. He's still pretty committed to that high side through 1 and 2. We'll see if Lorenzo's able to pull up side by side down the back stretch and not allow Jancek to take that line, or if he's going to have an issue doing that. You're seeing they are going to be quickly approaching slower traffic as well. We'll see if that plays a factor into what these drivers do. Got a couple more cars on pit road as well. Looks like these were not scheduled stops as well. Ogden Circle was not a scheduled stop. Well, actually it might have been, but let's see what these drivers can do. They're working their way down the backstretch, nose to tail, quickly approaching the slow traffic there. That is going to be the number 135 of Zachary, who had an issue early on in the race. See if he recognizes which line these drivers take, and all the problem is with them taking multiple lines through 1 and 2. It's kind of hard for Thornton to pick which way he wants to go. So unfortunately, looks like he's going to hurt Jancic as he goes to the high side. That kind of stalls out Jancic a little bit, allows Lorenzo to get to the bottom. See what Jancic's going to do about that. Oh, Thornton just quickly dives in front of Lorenzo. Oh, that was a bit of a close moment. I respect what he was trying to do. That might have been a bit too close to call. Lorenzo's going to take the move to try a little slide job. He slides up in front of Jancic. Jancic's going to have a little bit of a better run, though, down the front stretch. Dives back down to the bottom, tries to cut in front of him. Barely clears him as they go back into turn number 1. He cleared him by mere inches as they work their way back into turn number 1. He tried to do that to get his traditional high lane, and he can take turn 1 and 2. He put Lorenzo back down to the bottom. These two are going to drag race down the Nellis straightaway, working their way back to turn number 3 on lap 38 here. Quickly approaching the halfway way. See if Lorenzo can finally clear Jancic this time. Looks like he does. So move Brian Lorenzo up to the lead for the first time this evening, just before the halfway mark of this race. We'll see what Jancic's able to do if he can mount a charge to try to reclaim the lead, or if Lorenzo's going to be able to continue to expand that lead. The driver's going 3.5 minutes, 4 seconds ahead of Tyler Meeks, so these two have just pulled away from the rest of the field tonight. Been clean here though, if you're just joining us. We're just getting ready to work lap 40 of 80 here of the initial race for the Crazy Dogs T-shirt Xfinity Series. Happy to have you along. Got a couple fans in there. Know the drivers love to hear from. A lot of them will also come back and watch these races if they are not in the middle of it. So, absolutely love to see everybody out here. Lorenzo's starting to stretch that out a little bit over top of Jancic. Jancic lap traffic a little bit as you got some drivers coming around their way. Certainly you're seeing some drivers by Lorenzo. That's due to the fresher tires that they have, and that's that pace difference that I told you. Once you get those fresher tires, you're able to run much faster lap times. So you're seeing a lot of drivers now right around the halfway mark coming to pit road. We've got the 48 of Will Cloud, the 69 of Justin Gainham, 39 of Cam Anderson, Robert Wynn Jr. also on. Joe for Baltimore, Charles Whitehead, Zachary Thornton back on pit road. A lot of drivers coming in to use their first set of tires available to them, try to get a little bit more of that feel good and start getting pace back up. So I'm curious to see when both Lorenzo and Jancic decide to come into pit road with this pit strategy going now. This kind of sorted the field out. We've got a bit of a spread now, and just 5 cars on the lead lap at this time too. So it's gonna kind of cycle its way through. We'll see how it works its way out. Stay green. Caution coming out now would certainly shake things up. I think everybody that is on pit road wants to see this go green for a few more laps to let it cycle through. 5th place driver Brett Murphy now. William Mann's on pit. Robert Wynn is also in the pit road. I can't imagine Lorenzo and Jancic are going to go much longer. Much the same for William Mann Jr. in the 29 Camaro. I think these drivers have got to be thinking relatively soon. Everybody else, you're going to see a big pace difference in the fresh rubber. So would expect some of these drivers to front to start thinking about it. We've only got 3 drivers on the lead lap due to these last 3 not taking their pit stops, but I don't know if they're trying to hold out for a caution, go as long as they can. But I wouldn't be surprised if they start thinking about it soon once they see the difference in lap time between fresh tires and old tires. but they are working their way around. Certainly a great drive as you see Lorenzo working his way. Janzik and Man still staying out though, falling off. Janzik's almost a second and 3/4 back. Man is almost a full 11 seconds back from Man Jr., almost a full 11 seconds back from Lorenzo, but drivers are certainly doing what they can. Field is really stretched out now as we've got this pit cycle kind of sorting things out, as well as the fact that we've seen a long green flag run, a little bit of a pace difference between the drivers, so drivers are doing a good job. Lorenzo continuing to work his way out. Looks like he's choosing now to duck in Man Jr. the last time by, so that's going to leave Craig Janzik as the lone driver out there. Brett Murphy able to work his way around Lorenzo before he even to unlap himself. So see where that sorts Murphy out, but Janzik, the lone driver, now left to pit. See if he continues to go much longer or if he chooses to come in now. Works his way through 3 and 4. Looks like he might be giving the indication that he's coming. Yep, he does decide to slow down and bring the number 2 Chevy Camaro to the attention of his pit crew for service. So a little bit of a gap, almost a full lap difference between Janzik and Brett Murphy. So it's going to take a little bit of time for Brett Murphy. He should be able to get around and reassume the lead. Just under 30 seconds back as you see Janzik working his way onto pit road, brings the attention of his crew. So we're going to focus on Brett Murphy as he works his way down the front stretch, crosses the start and finish line. Should work by Janzik with no problem. Brett Murphy, the 64 Mustang, back into the lead. About 5 seconds behind him is going to be the 35 of Tyler Meeks. 21 of Ian Ogden working that early pit stop. See, he was on about 4 laps sooner than some drivers. He is in 3rd place right now. We'll see what Lorenzo can do. Draw this sorted out. He's back to 4th place. We'll see if he can take that fresh rubber and try to work his way back up through the field. See Janzik quickly working his way though with that fresh rubber outside of the 55 of Harris. This is for 6th and 7th on the track. So put Janzik back up to 6th place. He's got a little under 2 seconds to close to get to the 81 Camaro Carly Beretta for 5th place on track. It's the value of that fresh rubber. It does make a big difference off the start. That's why you're able to see Lorenzo's picked up another spot as well. Janzik was able to blow by James Harris like he was sitting still. Will Cloud, the 48, able to work by Harris as well. He came in about 6 laps later than Harris did. So there is some value in those fresh tires again. Did you use it a little too late, though, and the other drivers may not do a little too early? That remains to be seen as we've got 31 laps left to go. You've got Ian Ogden and Harley Beretta as the next 2 victims for Craig Janzik as he's closing in on them quickly. Ian leading this group of 3 from 4 through 6 on track. You see Ian just goes to the highs, and Janzik just able to dive right underneath him. Hits by him, and Janzik's actually going to be working on the inside of the 81 machine of Harley Beretta as they work their way back into turn 1. Janzik pulling a little bit of those close maneuvers, not quite. He's clear, but it's pretty close. Trying to take as wide of an arc right now as he can into the corner, work his way down the bottom, keep the momentum up, maybe save the right front a little bit, but he works by both Beretta and Ogden, no problem. Certainly making those 4 fresh Goodyears work. Setting the pace the last time by, just a little over a tenth off his fastest lap of the race. The fastest car on the track last time by was the 02 Chevy Camaro, Craig Janzik. Lorenzo and he are the 2 fastest cars on the track, which coincides with those 2 being the 2 latest to pit as well. So certainly a good job by those drivers to see if that strategy does play out for them, or if they're going to be bit of problems. Back to the front, though. It's Brett Murphy's driving on his own, got a little bit of traffic that has been able to take fresher tires before or later than him, so they're taking advantage of that. That looks like number 51 of Charles Whitehead in the Chevy Camaro by Murphy. Murphy's got about a half-second lead over Meeks. You can see Meeks just in the background there as they work their way across the start-finish line to begin lap number 4. Quickly closing into the later stages of this race. Difference in tires between Meeks and Murphy is about 7 laps, so you're able to see Tyler Meeks close up quite a bit. Give you an idea, the last time by was almost a full second difference between the two drivers. Tyler Meeks back to the lead. See if he can run away. You've got Brian Lorenzo quickly closing in. Janzik's a little bit further behind. Janzik's almost 4 seconds back. So Meeks, Lorenzo's leads. He's closed this gap quickly to half a second. You see him already working inside of Brett Murphy out of turn number 2. He's trying to get the run down the backstretch to clear him going into turn number 3. He does that. He's going to be quickly setting his sights on the number 35 of Tyler Meeks to try to close down that gap and get by him before the end of the race. Certainly going to be a very interesting battle the remainder of this event. Wasn't sure how those tire strategies were going to work out, but it seems like it has been working toward Lorenzo's favor. Janzik also making a move as well, but certainly taking him a little bit longer to try to work his way through. You see Lorenzo quickly working to the inside of Meeks, put Lorenzo back to the lead as he has made quick work of this field, working his way back to the lead. Last time by turning almost a half a second faster than Meeks, and Meeks is still a half second faster than Murphy. But Janzik still laying down the fastest laps on the track. He was actually 4 seconds faster than Lorenzo last time, so there is plenty of time to work. What is approximately a 2.5 second gap between Lorenzo and Janzik. Those are the two with the freshest tires of the field. Still time, we'll see if it becomes a 2-car battle for the race win as well. Meeks trying to do the most he can to hang on. Drivers a little bit more spread out. We're going to go back and look at the 29 of William Mann Jr. He works to the inside of 21 of Ian Ogden. That's for a battle and a change of 8th and 9th place. You see following right behind him is the 69 Wonder Chevy Camaro of Justin Gainham. He moves his way past Ogden. He's put Ogden all the way back to 10th place now. Gainham up to 8th and Mann holding that. Gainham up to 9th and Mann Jr. holding that 8th place. Mann Jr. a little bit faster than Gainham the last time by, but we'll see if that evens out now that both drivers are able to clear Ogden as they work their way across the start-finish line to complete their 58th lap. Looks like Ogden actually dives there. That might be some problems going on with him. Last time by, Mann Jr. still about 3.5 tenths faster than Gainham, so he's looking to open that gap up, see if he can try to do anything to close down the gap to 55 James Harris, maybe pick himself up another spot before the end of this race. Back to the front though, as Janzik has been able to work by Tyler Meeks, so you see Janzik closing down on Lorenzo. Excuse me, that's Lorenzo working inside of the number 121 of Hunter Terpstra. Janzik was able to get by Meeks. He's pulling away from Meeks now, but he's still got a pretty lengthy almost 2.5 second gap. Lap times have started to stabilize a little bit. I think you might have seen Janzik pushing pretty hard, trying to work his way through the field to back to Lorenzo. May have worn the tires out a little bit faster than what Lorenzo did last time. Why drivers in the park, but Lorenzo actually having the advantage this time instead of Janzik being the fastest car on the track. So that 2.5 second lead that Lorenzo's got now could look to be a potentially tough one to overcome, as we've got just 19 laps to go. So with that, looking for Janzik to pick up close to a tenth of a second, if not a little bit more. he's not just going to be able to get by Lorenzo instantaneously, so he's going to need to work a little bit faster. See what he can do. We've got drivers engaged, a few drivers engaged in some battles, a lot of drivers spread out a little bit. We're going to go back to 14th and 15th on the track because we did see Lorenzo work by the number 121 of Hunter Torkstra. Just behind him is the number 57 of William, and you see Man working the second lane up from the bottom. Chance of getting these drivers as well. These two drivers are engaged in a battle for 14th and 15th on track. Both drivers are looking to try to get their season off to the best that they can. A little bit off the pace, not working quite as well as they wanted to, but certainly every spot can be valuable in a tight race for a championship standings. Let's see what the drivers can do. Way around. Faster traffic working its way. The drivers are doing a good job trying to be as courteous as they can to the leaders, as well as allowing the drivers to continue to battle themselves. Work our way back up as well. A little bit closer to the middle of the field, we've got the 11th and 12th place on track. That's the 39 of Cam Anderson. Oliver leading Anderson by about 2 tenths as they work their way across the start-finish line. Start their 65th lap of this evening. Oliver working his way to the low line, down on the bottom. Anderson working up one seam up the track. It's a little wiggly there off of turn number 2. You kind of see him come off the wall and come back up it. Oliver able to hold a pretty steady line. Oliver's looking like he's taking a little bit of later arc, also working up about a half a lane or so in 3 or 4 compared to what he did in 1 and 2. This is battle for 11 and 12 on track. Drivers the last time by running nearly identical lap times. 39.59 for Dan Oliver to 39.55 Cam Anderson, so just under half a tenth. You see Anderson having maybe a few problems off the turn 2, pushing the car a little bit hard. It's getting a little tight on him as he comes off the corner. It's like what that's going to cause him to do is have to turn a little bit more to try to get it grip. And the car's just basically kind of sliding, the whole front end sliding like it's on ice skates, just laterally going up toward the wall rather than actually turning around the point. And so as soon as the tires do get the grip, it kind of shoots its way back down the track and it's got to catch it. See the 21 of Ian Ogden working by both of them. He is in 16th place, multiple laps down, but he's got the fresh tires. His last pit stop, so he's got a little more pace able to work by them. Anderson not wanting to let Oliver go. He's trying to get close to him, see if he can close back in. We've got a position change. But further in the field, the 55 of James Harris able to work by the 48 of Clouds. Harris up to the 6th place on the grid. Will Cloud back to the 7th place. Harris quickly making work of Cloud, pulling away from him. Funny thing is, Harris actually has 6 laps older tires than the Clouds. Where I've been talking about drivers having fresher tires having the advantage of being able to pull away, Harris is actually doing the opposite and making older tires work. So he may have been conserving those tires a little bit more at the beginning of his run on this second set of tires, able to save them a little bit better and have a little bit of better tire life compared to his competitors around him, working his way back up through the field. He's got a little bit of a way to go to get to the 81 of Harley Valletta to get himself in the top 5, though. That's just under a second and a half, so with just 11 laps to go, that's going to be a pretty tall task to do. He's trying to work his way to the inside, 135 of Zach Dollar Generic. Supra, you see a little bit of a moment there down the backstretch, gets a little bit loose, almost got into the right side of Harris, but able to keep it off of him. Everything up front's been pretty status quo for the most part. Brett Murphy's trying to work his way back to Tyler Meeks. Of course, excuse me, Harley Berletta is trying to work his way back to Harley in the 81 is just 2/10 back. Trying to see as he's in the toe of Murphy. He's going to take a lane lower, works his way to the bottom. Murphy almost up to the wall through the middle of 3 and 4. You see Barletta working his way to the bottom. That's the value of 4-lap fresher tires. Barletta moves by Murphy with ease coming out of turn number 4 as they've got just 9 laps to go. So this is a flip forward track. Puts Murphy down 1 spot from where he started in 4th, move Barletta up 2 spots from the 6th place starting spots. Both drivers trying to start out their Crazy Dog T-shirts Xfinity Series season with a solid top 5 effort. Doing a great job on track. You can see Harris trying to insert himself into this battle, though he's quickly closed the gap down to Murphy, so Harris really sniffing that top 5 out, trying to work his way. He dives to the inside of Murphy as they work their way into turn number 1. Put James Harris for the moment lead into the top 5. He's able to clear Murphy. He's got him by about 3 car lengths as they work their way on the Manila straightaway. Harris kind of trying to do a little bit of wiggling, it almost looked like, to make a right draft so that Murphy couldn't get a chance to catch back up to him while getting in that wake, but I think he's blown away enough that he doesn't need to worry about that now. He's going to set his sights on the 81 of Harley Berletta. That's about a half a second gap now, so we'll see if he can close that down. That's currently one of your better battles on the track, so we're going to keep it focused here as we've got just 7 laps to go. Drivers have done a great job keeping it clean and green. This whole great on-track action will be very respectful. We've had very, very, very few incidents. Very few. A couple drivers with a few moments coming off the track and coming back on. But really, the only crash to report was that early lap 2 crash for Zachary Thornton. Everybody else has been clean and really driving a great job. This has been a great field to see. Bit of a difference in skill gap and speed, but all the drivers have been super respectful. So this is exactly what you want to see in a season. I know these guys are still looking for more drivers, so if you feel like this is something that interests you and you've got a Sunday night free next 9 weeks after tonight, you would like to join this, there's a link for their Discord channel. They would love to have you. It's been a pleasure so far. See James Harris trying to work his way down to the bottom of turn number 1 and 2. Bottom lane lower than Harley Berletta, trying to close that gap up as much as he can. He gets just behind Berletta. He's about a car length back as he takes advantage of the draft. This time he runs a lane higher than Berletta through turn 3 and 4. Berletta not really varying his line to try to take anything away from Harris. He's running his same line, about a seam up off the bottom, so about a car to a car width and a half off the bottom of the corners. You just see Harris trying to do what he can. Oh, and just as I say how green they run it, we've got a caution, so that is going to make for a very, very interesting end of the event as we've got just 3 laps to go and likely headed for time tonight. Get it back to the front. That is not what Brian Lorenzo wanted to see at all. That was the last thing. He had a substantial lead over Craig Kensing, who's cruising away to that finish. The drivers are going to get lined up behind the pace cars. They work their first caution for the evening comes here on lap number 98. Again, want to take a shout out to all of the drivers tuning into this as well as their fans. Fans, we certainly appreciate your support. These drivers appreciate your support in the biggest way. Looks like we've got some drivers coming on the pit road as I say that. You see Lorenzo choosing to come down, take a set of tires. Looks like everybody so far. Brett Murphy is your first driver that might not be able to see what he chooses to do. Lorenzo working his way onto pit road. Janzik on there, Meeks on there, Berletta on there, Harris on there, Gainham on there. I think everybody knows what the longest run that we've had. If they tried to stay out, even for a few laps, there's such a difference in the speed of the tires that they would certainly be at a severe disadvantage trying to do that. So See how the drivers work their way off of pit road. Looks like Lorenzo's going to make his way off of pit road first. Looks like Meeks might have actually just jumped Janzik. Meeks up into third place right now. Meeks up into second. Janzik back into third. Harley Verada resumes in fourth place. Harris in fifth place. Look at the rundown of the rest of the field as the drivers work their way back out onto the pit road. We've got some drivers in front choosing to take away runs, so we'll get them sorted out as well. Before get that recorded for you. Just when you thought this race was going to come to its conclusion with no hitches, we have one caution to throw a little bit of a wrench in there. But overall, the driver's still done a very, very good job on that. Happen here as the field works its way around behind the pace car. Back into turn 4. Gives everybody one last chance to kind of finalize what they want to do for their late race restart. We're going to have 2 laps once they get the green flag. We're going to do what's known as a green white checker finish, where drivers will pick the green flag. It'll give them 2 laps to go, and then the next lap by will be the white flag. If a caution comes out during that white flag, that will end the race for the evening. Assuming the field's gonna get Hunter Terpstra around the pace car. You've got 3 drivers. You've got the 21 of Terpstra, 21 of Ogden, as well as the 135 of Zachary Thornton, all right now on track in front of Lorenzo in 77, who is scored as your race leader. See if they're going to get them by the pace car, get them sorted up. Like they do get their way around the pace cars. We've got one to go, so you can see the field start double filing up. So we'll get you run down the corner 77 with Brian Bronson restarting on the lead. Outside of him is going to be the 35 of Tyler Meeks. Back behind them is going to be the 02 Krajanzik. To his outside is going to be the 81 of Harley Valletta. Back in row number 3 is going to be the 55 of James Harris and the 69 of Justin Gainham. Back in row 4 is going to be outside of him is going to be the 64 of Brett Murphy. Back behind them, we're going to have the 58 of Will Cloud restarting 9th, and the 16 Ford Mustang of Robert Wynn's going to be restarting in 10th. Back in group number 6 is going to be the 39 of Cam Anderson inside, and on the outside is going to be the Eric Terpstra and August going to be restarting 13th. He will be the last driver on the main lap. This car is going to be getting ready to pull back off as we are working our way through turn number 4. This car is off momentarily. We'll see if Lorenzo decides to go. This car is off. The drivers are getting ready to go for what could potentially be the final restart. And Lorenzo takes the launch, gets a little bit of a jump, pulls away by about 2 car lengths in front of the 02 of Krajanzik. Janzik's got the 35 of Tyler Meeks working to his outside. We'll see Janzik diving down to the bottom side. Again, Meeks falling off back a little bit as Janzik tries to work to the outside of Lorenzo. He's going to try to take the high line as they make their way back into turn 3. Lorenzo committed to that bottom. Washes up just a little bit. Janzik gets a really good run off of turn 4. So move Janzik back to lead as we take the white flag. Just one to go. Meeks is actually going to take that opportunity as well. Try to work to the inside of Lorenzo. Lorenzo getting shuffled out to the outside. Looks like his car might have had a bit of problem. I don't think there was contact, just for whatever reason. It's not Dives back to the inside. Oh, Meeks gets into the wall hard out of turn number 2. That allows Lorenzo to get back by. You see both Barletta and Harris working by Meeks on the inside there, swerving to avoid him. We're going to have a two-car battle. I don't think Lorenzo's going to be able to get back to Craig Janzik, so give Craig Janzik the win for the opening event this evening here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Lorenzo finishing in second. James Harris getting his way up to third place, so a great finish there by all the drivers. Great job. Give all these drivers a moment to cool down. We'll see if we can get your top 3 into the booth for some post-race interviews. Great job. That was a great finish to the evening. You're going to see Janzik coming back to the front stretch, getting ready to work his celebration, as he certainly savored this win. Not quite sure if he was expecting that little bit of a slip up by Lorenzo, but certainly made the most of it, inserted his way back to the front in quick order with those final 2 laps. He's going to be the one to burn down the house this evening. Looks like all of our drivers have gotten their way in out of their cars. So we're going to take one moment here, give them 1 second, and we are going to get into the booth. Your third place finisher, driver of the number 55 Supra, James Harris. I've got with me here driver of the number 55 Toyota Supra, James Harris. James, great race there. That was an exciting finish. Tell me what it looked like from your perspective inside the cockpit there as you hit that white flag.
Yeah, man, I'm just actually glad that caution come out because earlier in the race I was racing for third or fourth, I believe, and I smacked the wall out of the two. But we were probably gonna finish top five anyway. But yeah, it was kind of nuts watching those guys go at it. I thought Brian was gonna pull that out, but Craig is a beast, so I'm not surprised he pulled out that win.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of a moment there coming off of turn 2 on the opening lap of that final restart. Tyler Meeks getting into the wall. Looks like it shot you guys all kind of in the bottom. Did you expect him to come off the little wall a little bit harder, maybe making a bit of an evasive move to not end your race?
Well, I've raced with Meeks for a while now in several leagues, and I know it. If he can, he'll get out of our way. He won't try to cause more wrecks. So I had faith that he wouldn't bounce off the wall and come down onto me and cause more wrecks.
We saw a little bit of a difference there in people choosing to take that first stop for their fresh set of tires. We saw a little bit of variance in terms of drivers based on when they wanted to do that. Did you have a preconceived notion for your pit strategy that you stuck to the whole night, or did you kind of dictate that based on when some of the front runners came in?
Well, due to my right front damage, I fell, I think, back to ninth, and I was going to pit halfway at lap 40, just divide it in half. But with my damage, I figured I'm going to pit about 5 laps before everybody else will probably pit. That way, I could gain some track time, and it worked out because I come out in, I think, sixth or seventh, so I gained some spots that way. But yeah, initially I was planning on coming halfway.
Well, certainly you made the most of it. Great job staying out of trouble, moving that car all the way up to third spot. It's great to see on the track. Anybody you want to send a shout out to or a big thank you to before we let you go for the evening?
Yeah, man, let me give a huge thank you to our league sponsor, Crazy Dog T-shirts. They come on just a few days ago, right before the season started. I'd like to thank Elite Performance Industries (EPI). They're my racing team. They have fantastic setups, and they've taught me a lot over the past several months. I'd like to thank my wonderful wife for putting up with all my sim racing.
Well, awesome job. We're looking forward to watching you the rest of this season and look forward to great results in the near future.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a blast. Appreciate it.
Looking forward to it. That was your third place finisher driver, the 55 Elite Performance Industries Toyota Super James Harris. We are going to get in our second place finisher, driver of the number 77 Chevy Camaro, Brian Lorenzo. Got with me driver of the number 77 Chevy Camaro, second place finisher, Brian Lorenzo. Brian, great drive. You had what looked like one of the dominant cars of the evening. How did that feel for you?
Yeah, definitely the best car all day. We started last, pretty much last, because I had to miss quali. I think it was like P16 and on that old green flag run. Just it was on point. A little slow at the beginning of the run, but once the long run came in and I got myself warmed up, just drove up to the front.
I
Uh,
go ahead.
drove up to the front, beat him on the pitch strategy, and it looked like we were going to win it. But that yellow came out at the end there.
That's what I was just about to ask you. You had looked like you had that race win locked up, and then that yellow came out with 3 laps to go. Was that a little bit of an anguished moment there, a little bit of a stressful moment there in the cockpit once you had that caution come out?
Oh yeah, I knew I lost. As soon as that caution came out, I said I lost. I am not good at negotiating 2 to go restarts.
Yeah, it also looked like your hand was kind of forced too on that initial caution. Everybody was coming down the pit road. Did you already plan to come down the pit road, or did you see everybody kind of indicating they want to do that, and you knew you had to stay on the same strategy with the amount of tire fall off this evening?
It was just yeah, just knowing that the tires they get really bad on that long run. So I was gonna pit regardless if everybody didn't, because you would still be able to like fly up to the field. Um, but yeah, yeah, that definitely got interesting at the end.
Well, it's certainly a great job though to still navigate the field, come back through it for a second place finish. So, anybody you want to send a shout out to or thank you to before we let you go for the evening?
I gotta thank Crazy Dog Shirts. Sadly, we couldn't get the win today because of some luck, but definitely shows that we're gonna have some speed for the future. I gotta thank Bronx Community College. They're gonna be with us this season. Family at home, and thank broadcasters, of course. You guys did another great job.
Well, awesome, our pleasure to call it, and looking forward to calling you the rest of this season. And best of luck in the remaining events.
Thank you.
That was your driver of the number 77 Chevy Camaro, your second place finisher, Craig or Brian Lorenzo, and we are going to get our race winner, driver of the number 02 Chevy Camaro, Craig Janzik, up with us. Craig Janzik, Jake Vescanen here. That was certainly one of the most eventful finishes of the race I've seen in quite a while. You drove a great restart there. Tell me about what those last 2 laps were like for you trying to work by Lorenzo there for the win.
Yeah, what a great race overall. It was really good to have 77 green flag laps to start out. You always love to see that, and I do feel for Lorenzo a little bit. He definitely had that one in the bag, and then late race cautions, man. That seems to be the theme of 2022 NASCAR. But yeah, really a really good car here today, and I definitely drove through the right front way too heavy on the first run and was able to dial it back down. And I kept a consistent gap with Lorenzo on the second run, which I felt good about just generally to be able to take that with me for future mile and a half races. But when we got the restart, I knew it was my time to pounce. I have a good bit of experience racing around Lorenzo, and I kind of know some of his tendencies, and he does definitely do kind of what he did there and wash up a little bit, throttle up a little too early. And I knew as soon as I can get a window to either one of his quarter panels, I was going to take it and just see what happens. And we were able to send it around the outside, power slide out of 4, and set sail for a good win to start out the Crazy Dog T-shirts iRacing Xfinity Series. Not much more I could ask for.
Yeah, we saw you work to the outside. You just mentioned you knew his tendencies. Did you feel like you gave him a little bit of room in order to allow him to slide up and not make contact with the offside door, or did you feel like you kind of tried to pinch him down and maybe cut some of that momentum off before?
I could kind of see, so it was a little bit mental from me to be able to see how his entry angle was, knowing that he was never going to be one of two things was going to happen. He was going to do what he did, which is throttle up too soon, or he was not going to even carry enough momentum, and I would still have enough run to make a shot at him into one on the white flag lap. So we were gonna react to whatever happened there, and I do think that Lorenzo and I race together, like I said, somewhat frequently. And we've always been really good around one another, and I knew that we'd be giving each other room regardless of the roles, even if they were flipped. And hey, so some of them work out, and that one just happened to be Plan A, and it worked. So um, not much of a better outcome than I could have expected.
Yeah, certainly. We saw you were one of the last cars on the track, actually, I believe the last car on the track to take tires for your first stop under green flag conditions. Did you have that kind of pre-plan to go that long, or did you think maybe once you saw when Lorenzo went that you pitting a little bit later might give you a little bit of an advantage with those fresh tires for the remainder of the race?
The latter for sure. I was for me, I'm always content to run it out of gas. I don't even care. We'll run it as long as we can. Maybe if we can trap uh, 3/4 of the field a lap down and stay out long, I would prefer to have that route. That makes the race a little bit more cut and dry if you get a caution at that point. But when I heard Lorenzo get into pit road there, I knew that it was going to be just +1 for me, and then I was going to, if traffic allowed, I was going to pit the immediate lap after that. So that was at least partially planned, and whatever lap that ended up being, it was the exact plan that I was hoping for.
Well, it certainly worked to perfection, putting yourself back in the spot to pounce on that restart and take that race win. Anybody you want to set a shout out to or thank you to before we let you go for the evening to finish your celebrations for the win?
Yeah, huge shout out to Crazy Dog T-shirts for coming on to the league. Startup league realistically, and they jumped on board for prior to an inaugural race. So huge shout out to them and all of their viewers that they represent. And shout out to you guys at Team Goom Squad for what I'm sure is going to be an amazing broadcast. I can't wait to go back and watch that one. Shout out to the field for showing up and all the viewers, mom, dad, and aunt. I know you guys are watching. I love that. And yeah, we'll look forward to next Sunday at, I believe, Richmond, which should be a great show as well.
Looking forward to not only Richmond, but the great rest of the season schedule looks amazing. So best of luck to you two in the future, and take a good win and walk out here with a lot of confidence.
That's what I hope to do, man. Thanks.
Have a good.
Look forward to talking to you next time.
All right, we are going to get up our final results for the evening and get you through that. Certainly a great finish, like we said. We had a great 77 laps to start, clean and green to keep it running well. Just that late race caution, but that jumbled everybody up and made for a certainly very exciting finish to open up this inaugural Crazy Dog T-shirts Xfinity Series season. And our race winner, driver of the O2, is Craig Janzik. Behind him was the 77 of Brian Lorenzo. James Harris in the 55, able to bring it home in third. Up 2 spots from the starting spot was the 4 of Harley Beretta. And rounding out your top 5 was the driver of the 35 Ford Mustang, Tyler Meeks. You can see the rest of the field through 18th on your screen. And we'll give you your last 2 finishers there in 19th and 20th as well. All drivers have 13 drivers finish on the lead lap after the way the pit stop cycled out and what was largely a green flag race at a very fast mile and a half. Great skill by all these drivers. They all certainly did a very good job in order to navigate that as cleanly as we possibly could have seen. Really, just one incident off the beginning. So it was my pleasure. Again, I'm Jake Fuscannon on behalf of Team Goon Squad. Looking forward to calling not only this race for you, but the remaining 9 events this season. Should be a great time for all of your Sunday nights for the rest of this summer. So until the next one, I hope all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.